are you? Nice to see you. Great.
Yes.
Everybody's doing great. Thank you.
I know it's me.
Sir, how you doing? Good to see you. We start at 6. Right. Yeah, 2 cheese. Well, that one.
That's what I think. That's what I think. Yes, sir.
Hey, Crystal. Oh my God.
Before she went away.
You too. They're going to see you.
Okay, thank you. Yes, thank you.
Good evening. The current time is 6:02. This is February 27th. This is a regular board meeting of Canton Penn School Board of Trustees. Tony, could you please call roll?
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Brigham.
Present.
Ms. Fritzie.
Here.
Mrs. Quintana. Mr. Rodriguez.
He is out.
Mrs. Searles.
Here.
Mrs. Trout.
Present.
And Mrs. Iglesias. For the record, Ms. Quintana is absent.
And I'm here. For the record, Mr. Rodriguez is leaving, right? Has been meeting, yes.
Yes, the grassroots hearing.
Thank you. CISD mission and vision statement.
Ms. Fritzie, would you mind?
I'm so sorry, Ms. Brigham. Pledge of Allegiance, that was my mistake.
Pledge of Allegiance, please. Everybody please stand.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Ms. Fritzie.
Madam Chair, may I ask, given the unfortunate accident in Florida, I have 17 seconds for the 17 victims.
So, could y'all please
Stand and do a moment of silence,
a moment of silence for the 17 victims from Parkland, Florida. Thank you.
Ms. Fritzie.
Yes.
Could you please read the mission statement?
San Mateo ISD purpose is to provide high quality educational experience that will inspire and prepare all students to apply the knowledge and skills necessary to become effective leaders and productive citizens.
San Mateo ISD is a premier school district with nationally ranked multiliterate graduates ready to excel in college, their careers, and in life.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Board honors. A. Recognition of Canutio ISD school counselors in celebration of National Counselors Week. Mr. Reynoso.
Good evening, Board of Trustees. Dr. Galavis, would you please join us at the front of this dais for our board recognition? Let's begin tonight's recognitions with a special group of individuals who are integral to the students' success. Canutio School Counselors celebrated National School Counseling Week, February 5th through 9th, to highlight the tremendous impact counselors can have in helping students achieve success in school and plan for a career. School counselors help our students reach their potential, and this month we acknowledge their unique contributions. School counselors are actively committed to helping students explore their abilities, strengths, interests, and talents as these traits relate to career awareness and development. Thank you, CISD counselors, for your efforts to further the educational, personal, and social growth of our students. Okay. I'm going to read some names of all of the counselors in the district, and if you're present, you may please come forward. From Bill Childress Elementary, Monica Barraza. Canutio Elementary, Diane Ramirez. Davenport Elementary, Martin Arroyos. Damian Elementary, Cynthia Arteaga. Reyes Elementary, Michelle Escobedo. Alderete Middle, Diaranira Fronce. Alderete Middle, Nelly Halad. Canutillo Middle, Carolina Cruz. Also from Canutillo Middle, Monica Prieto. Not able to join us tonight, we'd like to acknowledge Northwest Early College, Mr. Mercado, Jaime Mercado. Also not here, Canutillo High School, Annie Flores. Canutillo High School, Megan Flores. Canutillo High School, Nicole Morales. Canutillo High School, Maria Villarreal. Career and Technical Education, Amanda Blake. And Alternative Education, Marisela Corral.
We're practically perfect.
B, recognition of Northwest Early College High School for being nominated a National Blue Ribbon School.
Next, let's acknowledge a team of educators whose efforts are deemed worthy of national recognition. Northwest Early College High School has been nominated by the Texas Education Agency for the 2018 National Blue Ribbon School Award in the Exemplary High Performing category. This school has earned a list of accolades as it celebrates its 10-year anniversary. Northwest is led by Principal Tracy Speaker Gersheimer and is a dedicated team of faculty and staff that has made much progress and impacted so many students' lives. Northwest Blue Ribbon School nomination represents yet another achievement that places CISD and its schools among the best in the nation. Congratulations.
Everybody come here. I see them. Come
C. Recognition of Jessica Carrillo for being selected the TEPSA Region 19 Assistant Principal of the Year.
And now we'd like to recognize an outstanding leader who recently received a top honor in the region. Jessica Melendez Carrillo, Assistant Principal at Congressman Silvestre and Carolina Reyes Elementary School, was selected as Assistant Principal of the Year in Region 19 by the Texas Elementary Principal and Supervisors Association. Ms. Carrillo is being recognized among her peers for her exceptional leadership in the day-to-day operations of Reyes Elementary, instilling pride in the school's accomplishments and reinforcing their leadership in helping children develop a lifelong love of learning. Ms. Carrillo will attend the awards reception June 13th during the TEPSA Summer Conference in Austin, and TEPSA Region Assistant Principals of the Year have the opportunity to apply for the National Assistant Principal of the Year Award. Join me in congratulating one more time our Region 19 Assistant Principal of the Year, Ms. Jessica Melendez Carrillo.
Item D, recognition of Yvonne Carrillo for being awarded the 2017 THPERD Emerging Professional of the Year Award.
Studies have shown that physically active students perform better academically, and one Canutillo ISD teacher has emerged to the front of the state in those efforts. Canutillo Elementary School physical education teacher Yvonne Carrillo has been awarded the 2017 Texas Association of Health, Physical Education, Recreation, and Dance Emerging Professional of the Year Award. This is a huge honor. Carrillo and colleague Cynthia Coronado presented on how Canutillo ISD integrates STEM into physical education at the Stafford Annual Convention in Fort Worth, Texas on November 30th. The team lectured attendees about new, fun, and meaningful STEM activities to include in their physical education classes. These teachers are excited about the work they do and continue to make important contributions to the education, health, and well-being in the lives of their students and their community. Congratulations, Ms. Carrillo, on being a top educator in the state. Board members, this concludes our monthly recognitions. Thank you.
Item number 3, presentation. Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America.
Go ahead, Marty.
Good evening and thank you for the opportunity to speak to you all tonight. My name is Mark CISD with the teammates. We're here to speak about the impact of cafeterias and waste on our environment. Thank you.
Excuse me, gentlemen, can you please get close to the microphone so the rest could hear you better? Thank you. Thank you.
Currently, we don't recycle any cafeteria food waste.
Food goes into the dumpster, then into the landfill. At the landfill, the food decays and expels greenhouse gases.
We are members of NCCLA and our event is called Environmental Lifestyle. The team name is Guardians of the Piggies. We're here to speak about the impact of cafeteria food waste on our environment and how it affects all of us here. Greenhouse gases are heating up our air and are causing ourselves to melt. The ocean has more water and the water is warmer. This is known as global warming. It is a huge concern to us considering all the research that we have done and how much damage we are doing. The research we have done has shown us how much damage we are doing and all the horrible possibilities of not addressing greenhouse gases.
We've done research and we think that as a community we can do something about it in our own little part of the world.
Max will speak about the benefits of waste and created
The audit will help us find out exactly how much food waste we're talking about.
You may be wondering why we named our team Guardians of the Piggies.
Our idea is to send cafeteria food waste to the local pig farmers.
This will help our local pig farmers and it will also help our cafeterias to keep the landfills. From what we see, the audit isn't very difficult to complete and we'd be happy to help.
The hard part is to become complete with city and community guidelines. We have researched extensively and we have not been able to figure out what department is in charge of this. Every time we have called, they have transferred us from department to department.
We know other communities that recycle food waste. A good example is Las Vegas casinos. Our challenge to you, the school board members, is not only conduct a food waste audit, but to, more importantly, begin to recycle food to more benefit our community. They're guardians of the piggies and they're guardians of our futures and our children's futures.
Do you have any questions?
Thank you. What a wonderful program. And thank you for doing this. I want to tell you that it's in the last legislative session from the state, it was opened up that there will be areas now that it's okay once again to give the leftover food to the piggies. And those will be happy little piggies because I think it's probably going to be enough that it'll help them. So thank you. And anything you need, I'm sure that, as a district, we're behind you, but an awesome job you're doing.
Thank you.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
So whatever we can do to support you, please let us know. Great. And we'll support, we're good for that. And you mentioned about how much food waste. I was reading this packet and I think you were talking about something to wait Can you explain me a little bit about that?
I'm sorry, repeat that again?
Yeah, how can you measuring how much food is gonna be wasted? How can you?
Oh, okay, we were supposed to have a, actual guideline provided by the EPA, but we couldn't get it all to you tonight. But, to make it short for you, it's a whole guideline of how we can incorporate it into classrooms, where you can incorporate it into science classrooms and other classrooms to make it a social thing. We put food as, because I remember when I was in elementary school, middle school, we would put food in one, other trash in another one, and that's how we would do it. But actual food in one. Yeah, so it tells us how to incorporate it into the classroom and other ways as well, just to make it easier for the whole school to do it, and it's much easier.
Do the same thing at home?
I tried to.
That's good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Have you contacted the people here at Canutillo, the food service director?
Yes, Marcos, yes?
Yes.
Yes, I have.
I know he'll work with you.
Yes.
Yes, thank you for bringing this, and like Ms. Searle said, we're able to, state's allowing us to do this, so maybe we can be one of the first ones that can get that contract with that, okay?
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
all.
Good job.
Congratulations. What did you need? Thank you very much. Good presentation.
Board, we have one more presentation.
Good evening, board members and Dr. Delegate. Thank you for giving us this opportunity to speak to you this evening.
Did you know that the highest population to attempt and succeed at suicide are young Hispanics ages 14 to 25? Because of this, we are very alarmed for our parents.
Hello, my name is Natalia Villalobos, and these are my partners, Luis Cáceres and Ibelis Lee.
We are the creators and members of TALK. TALK stands for Teens Advocating for Lives of Kids.
You might be wondering why we are talking about this difficult topic.
On November 8th, 2017, a student from Pebble Hills High School shot and killed himself in the desert. We're very concerned about this because this happened in our own city. It wasn't just another city in a different part of the United States.
When we heard about this on the news, we decided that we needed to conduct further research to find out why this happened.
The research was shocking. As we said before, young Hispanics are the highest population to commit suicide. At Canutillo High, the population of Hispanics is 96.8%.
What this means to us is that many of our classmates and our friends are at risk. We then looked at resources on our campus and from our district to help our friends.
While there are some things available to us, they are not readily available or no one knows about them.
In order for one of our distressed classmates to speak to one of the counselors, they must fill out a form, or sometimes the counseling center is closed due to various reasons.
Also, when a student is in distress, they aren't going to be pushy and demanding for help, especially when there is a sign on the counseling door that says the counseling center is closed.
We then moved on to see what resources the district had. we found out the district has a social worker to assist with counseling and mental health issues. Sadly, most of the teachers we talked to on our campus did not even know about us. We had a social worker.
We tried contacting her multiple times, but our multiple attempts were delayed due to a busy schedule.
This is what we need on campus. We need group therapy. We need a group therapy after school every day, conducted by a licensed professional. Parent consent is not necessary according to the Texas law of Family Code consent to counseling.
Individual therapy is unrealistic as well as expensive. Group therapy once a week will give our kids the outlet they need in a non-judgmental environment.
In counseling, they will have an opportunity to speak and have others help them figure things out. If they choose not to speak, then they will listen and know they are not alone.
Being a teenager is hard, especially in this busy world of technology. We need someone to listen to us. We need someone to let us know that we are cared for. We need someone to help us slow down the racing thoughts in our head. But most importantly, we need someone to assure that our lives are important. We need this, we want this, and we deserve this. Will you help us? Thank you for the opportunity to speak in front of you tonight. Do you have any questions?
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Go ahead, Ms. Thank you. Have you ever thought to extend this invitation to the other campuses? Overall, your neighbor campus, which is Northwest Early College?
Oh, yes, yes.
And did you have already some response about that?
Well, as we mentioned, we contacted the district social worker, and due to her busy schedule, we didn't get the chance to speak to her as much as we would, but that would be our initial goal, is to expand it, not just in our high school, but expand it to other campuses.
And it's going to be held in the high school along at Northwest Early College, or you guys are planning to have it only in the high school when all the meetings are going to be? At the same time inviting the rest.
First, we would like to start it at the high school, and as it grows bigger and more awareness is brought to it, then we would like to expand it to the Northwest Early College.
Thank you. Thank you, Natalia. And all the things that you guys are doing. What is your name, sweetie? Thank you very much for all that you're doing. It's very important that at this level, we need to create a conscience in friends, in our neighbors, in our colleagues, what's going on, put them aware about the situation. That it's not a game, it's something very serious. And we could start in even early childhood. So if you guys are committed to do this, I really give a big applause, because it's not easy. It's a very sensitive issue. Congratulations for what you're doing, and be strong, and I would like to see that group bigger and bigger and bigger, and please invite me so I could give you some classes from now.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Item number 4, open forum. Any person wishing to address the board during the period reserved for public comment at a board meeting was cited to be heard in accordance with District Policy BED Local. Number 1, each participant will be limited to 3 minutes to make comments to the board. Number 2, any group of 5 or more persons must appoint one person to present the group's views to the board. Number 3, the board is not permitted to discuss or act upon any issues that are not posted on the agenda for tonight's meeting. For further information on these policies, contact the superintendent's administrative assistant. Madam President, I believe we have 4 speakers, and the first speaker would be Derek and Lisa Fatt.
Lisa Foley.
Good evening. Thank you all for your time tonight, for allowing us to speak. So our purpose in being here tonight is to lift the importance of school safety. In light of recent events, we all know what happened in Florida with the 17 children who were killed. It's increasingly important that the district do something about keeping our schools safe, keeping our students safe. So my husband and I, as parents of 3 boys in Canutillo Independent School District, feel that it's necessary to address our concerns with the board. We're pleased that there's a community meeting scheduled for tomorrow and will be in attendance, but we also felt it was important to take a proactive approach to come tonight to appeal to the board to seriously consider supporting the ideas that come out of tomorrow's meeting, and then also to have further discussions amongst yourselves about what CISD can do to keep our children safe beyond just the drills that are performed in the school. Not taking away the importance of those drills, they're necessary, but it's definitely important that we take additional action to make sure that our children stay safe.
In addition to what my wife has said, we appreciate you giving us time to come and address the issue that we have. And we understand that due to everyday demands that are required in maintaining a school, that there are multiple challenges that take place, and sometimes these challenges cause other issues to take a back seat to schedules and other priorities. We just want to ensure that the safety of the Kendall School campuses stay at the forefront of the day-to-day task. And brought to my attention because of what the excellent job that the students presented about suicide and things like that, it really brings the point that we need to do a preemptive stance instead of being reactive to what's happening. And so when I hear that doors are closed and students can't talk to teachers and can't talk to counselors, that just raises a flag in my mind and in my wife's mind that we really need to take a stance against this. And don't let this become a climate change in our schools and in our district. We want to be proactive. Thank you.
Thank you. And our second speaker is Mr. Medina.
Good evening. I want to introduce myself. My name is Daniel Medina. I'm the new principal at Canopio Middle School. And I just want to thank you for the opportunity. I'm extremely honored and humbled to be a leader at the campus. So I'm there for anything you guys need. Thank you.
You're not alone, Mr. Medina, because you have a great PTO. Thank you.
Madam President, our next speaker is John M. Joyner, Jr.
Don't make faces. You're always making faces. Good evening, I'm John Joyner, and I'm I guess an ex-parent of students in K-tier high school, but I still hang in there. I want to talk to you about a couple of things tonight. One is, I don't want you to make any drastic changes in your vision and your mission statement unless it's to increase the literacy rate, bilingual rate of the students. And the second thing I want to talk to you about is a distinguished graduate and alum from Northwest LA College, my daughter Sarah, sent me a text tonight, and it talks about the Bill Emerson Good Samaritan Act. And it protects nonprofit organizations from liability from serving donated food. I don't want to take anything from the piggies, but there's an organization in place that if you take the food that's prepared and you put it in containers and you freeze it, the Food Recovery Network will come and get it, and they'll take it to soup kitchens and they'll feed people with it. She was helpful in pioneering that organization at New Mexico State. It's called the Bill Emerson Act, and requirements for nonprofits. They operate for religious, charitable, or educational purposes, and do not provide net earnings or operate in any other manner that ensures benefit any officer, employer, or shareholders. Basically, what it does, UTEP should have a branch, New Mexico State should have a branch, and they're trying to partner with high schools nationwide to do the same thing, to recover literally hundreds of tons of food, hundreds of thousands of tons of food nationwide to go to these networks. So if you get somebody in here to find out who the Food Recovery Network is, I think it will help you with your food waste problem. And that's, and of course, I want you guys to find some way to replace the school board member that we have with as soon as possible. Thank you for taking the time to listen to me. Thank you.
And our final speaker is Ms. Lilia Maldonado.
Good evening, Dr. Galaviz, board members. First of all, again, with all the recognitions that have been made tonight, that's proof that we are doing great things at CISD. However, I'm here because I have a concern. We were informed that 456 fifth graders have been mandated by the school board to go through etiquette lessons. I don't have an issue with the etiquette lessons. I have a problem, huge, with a cost of $18,000. You have contracted Joanne Wardy to deliver these lessons, who, by the way, is a board member's friend. Are you aware that our wonderful counselors that were just recognized can deliver this service at no additional cost? The only cost would be to take these fifth graders to a restaurant, excuse me, to apply what they've learned. And the cost would be minimal compared to $18,000. The problem is, thank you. The problem is we don't have parent liaisons at some campuses, or enough academic tutors, or resources. We've asked for math resources from CNI at the cost of $1,300, and we're told there's no money. This $18,000 could be someone's salary, could be used for additional security at our campuses with everything that's going on, could be used to support these young leaders program. It could purchase resources much needed for our students. As a taxpayer, I'm outraged at these self-interest decisions that one of you is making and is somehow convincing the others to go along with it. Like land purchases that have been made in the past, land that the district doesn't need, but you buy because a neighbor is selling it. We're not in the business of making profits for our friends. Your job is to make smart decisions that will better the education of our kids. I have sat on CBAC and I have seen firsthand the work of one of you. Adding wants over needs, causing the budgets to go over by thousands of dollars. It happened at Reyes, and I'm pretty sure it's happening right now with the construction of the barn. You're a team of 7 or 6 right now, I should say. And you should be making and overseeing construction projects as a team, not as one individual, meeting and calling and making decisions on an individual basis. This one man, or I should say one woman rodeo has got to stop. These self-interest decisions have got to stop. It's time for you to either step down or reflect on what you're doing, because you're not doing the district any good. And I, for one, support that parent that said, you can be voted out. So, if things don't change, as a community member, I will be an advocate to see that that happens. Thank you.
Item number 5, Board of Trustee Business. A report regarding the Advocacy Institute Conference held in Washington on February the 3rd through the 7th, 2018.
Madam Chair, wait, I know the board traveling is important, but the consent items, can we go through that real fast, real quick?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
Because we have people down here. Yes.
Item number 6, then, we will go to the consent agenda. Administration recommends approval as presented.
Board of Trustees, is there
There are the items that we need to be pulled.
I move to approve. I have one to pull. I'd like to pull A1C, the January 24th, 2018 board workshop training minutes.
Anybody else need anything pulled from the consent agenda?
With that, Madam Chair, I move to approve the consent agenda as presented, with the exception of A1C.
Is there a second?
I second.
Questions? Ms. Brigham?
Yes.
Ms. Fritzie?
Yes.
I'm sorry, legal, we still call out Rachel until we get, excuse me, Ms. McDonough, until we get
Present, so you don't have to call.
Okay, Mr. Rodriguez? Absent, Mrs. Searles?
Yes.
Mrs. Trout?
Yes.
And Mrs. Iglesias?
Yes.
Motion passes. We are going to pull A1C.
And Madam Chair, I just would like to correct, it does not have, this was a board training and 2 trustees left early.
Oh, okay. Did you put that in?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
If the minutes could reflect.
Yes, that's correct, Mr. Lee. We left that.
I don't know what time, but we got, it was 8:30. We've got one coming in late and then,
Will do.
and that's all. So with the correction of that, I move to approve the minutes of January 24th, 2018 board workshop training.
Is there a second?
And I second.
Ms. Brigham?
Yes.
Ms. Fritzie?
Yes.
Mrs. Searles?
Yes.
Mrs. Trout?
Yes.
And Mrs. Iglesias?
Yes.
Item passes. Madam President, would you like to go back then to Board of Trustee business? Yes, okay. A, report regarding the Advocacy Institute Conference held in Washington on February the 3rd through the 7th, 2018. Yes, ma'am?
This was the first time I had the privilege of going up to Washington, D.C. We did meet with multiple legislators, and I was able to talk with, believe it or not, Senator Cruz, and I did ask him to make sure that he looked at the funding for the 90% of, over 90% of school-age children in Texas. They go to public school. And to make sure that he advocates for those 90%. He was very cordial. We had, the whole process is, you know, we looked at the Title I reauthorization, the Cal Perkins reauthorization. Everybody's scrambling for money, whether it's at the federal level, the state level, or the local level, as we are right here. It was just an eye-opening experience. We had some excellent speakers, and really, it was put on by the National School Board Association, and it's interesting when all of a sudden you bring that many board members from across the nation to talk to legislators. And we had people from Education Committee come and talk to us. I don't know, I think we started about 8:30 and ended about, 5 every day. And it was constant. It was different seeing things in action, because we think that there's so little action that happens in Washington, D.C. But at least they welcomed us, and they made us feel like we knew what we were talking about. Kind of nice to hear, because I know sometimes we're on a chopping block, and at least and I know politicians are on a chopping block, so I think they listened to us, which I really thought that was very good. So anyways, I know Ms. Grace.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
It's something that I would like to put in here because it's very important. So I'm going to read something here. So first of all, we bring you greetings from our Texas legislators from Washington, D.C. We had the opportunity to speak personally with the Congress and Senate with their representatives. My interview with Senator Ted Cruz was to address that we need his support for public schools, that we need to prepare our students to be more competitive in the world of the economy, supporting the certifications and technical careers that we offer in our district, adopted and rated previously, to offer a better choice to them, and also that we please keep supporting Perkins funds and focus on the 85 to 90% of children's attend to public school. He was very attentive, and he answered me that he knows about the percentage and all of those needs in the public education as well. that we are working on it, that's what he says. At the same time, I gave him a binder and explained to him the valuable information on Blue Ribbon Early College and the achievements that we accomplished in our district, and he appreciated the gift. In our interview with the Congressman Will Hurt, we addressed our concern about the public schools and his support to the public schools education. He told us that definitely he has in mind the percentage of the students who attend the public schools. He commented that he was the president of the Student Association in Texas A&M in 1999 to 2000, major in computer science. As well, he was working for the CIA, and he expressed his #1 concern on the cyber society. And for that, they implemented a $50,000 grant for algebra teachers, preferably in middle school. Named Teachers Train the Teachers. Actually, 10 schools districts are participating, and from El Paso, Socorro, ISD, and 304 more. That he would like to see more districts to take these benefits and also participated with the idea to rise up the funds and to make it better. He added that he wants to benefit the middle school students to introduce them to a programming, coding, and CTE education. He wants to expand this program around Texas, that San Antonio and Houston, they already taken advantage of this program. So they started by sending information through the regular mail to the families and asking if they would like to participate in this program and contact their school for more information. That he would like to see principals and teachers and bring them here to the members of the Congress so they could raise their voices and be heard. That he strongly supports the public education, that he loves the kids, and he will always be available. And with our interview with Senator Cornyn as well, he sent me an email here. Greetings from Washington as well, that he says he strongly believes that support the public schools. That he's already working in the budget for that as well. And the children, he believes that the children should have equal opportunity, and he will be more than proud to support the secondary education, and he would like to be ensured that these kids reach good and safe and very well prepared for future careers.
Thank you, Ms. Stroud. One of the things that Congressman Hurd did say that he thought get the Congress working, he said if you got all the old principals up there, and you got the old principals of all the senators and Congress people, they said they'd probably get working once they saw them walking through the Capitol door. So I thought that was kind of interesting that then they strike fair representatives. The next one would be MASPA. Is anybody?
Yes.
Okay.
I would like to speak a little bit.
Please.
MASPA was very welcoming institute that we got the opportunity to meet and greet a lot of people. Also, one of the speakers that really bring impact to me, and I'm not going to be tired to say that, is Mr. A.J. Fravia. He's a Deputy Commissioner of Governance and Texas Education Agency. So he talked about the educational opportunities for students. Says that make SMART goals. He directly to our board, to every board trustees, they were present over there. It was a big one. So he says, set up SMART goals and review your goals. But don't make it complicated for the students. Try to do the best as you can. That we adults need to make strong changes, starting by us, trustees. Open the opportunity door for the students, and if it's necessary to make sacrifices, do it. Spend the time and evaluate and ask to ourselves, how can I make a difference? Follow our good instinct, and then we can change the difficulty. It is like a break a piñata, because we were talking about the piñata, right? To try to bring all the goodies out of there. So this is like to break the piñata and give all these opportunities to the students, and so we could have a good students' outcomes.
Thank you. Anyone else?
This MOSPA conference was a huge success. The conference really gave me a better understanding of some of the issues facing our students and how we can use best practices around the state to close achievement gaps. One of the highlights that energized me was Dr. Henry Gabriel Cisneros. What an intelligent man. He talked about the demographics of the Hispanic population and how it will soon be the largest population And he also challenged us on making it the largest educated group and for us to be optimistic. Another highlight was Dr. Robert Duron. Yes, from TASB, and he was from TASB and past superintendent of Socorro ISD. He talked about Brown v. the Board of Education and what implications it's had and continues to have. He addressed our role as board members and how important the governance model can be effectively used if we allow our people, the people we hire, to do their jobs. I must say that this conference was special and made me come back to share and work with my colleagues to move our district forward.
Thank you, Ms. Places.
Item C, receive and act on resignation of board member R. Quintana.
Ms. Searles, my computer is fine. Could you read the resignation letter? Just so we can have it in record.
Yes, ma'am, I will. February the 20th, and this is to be read into the record.
Please.
Canutillo School Board and Superintendent Pedro Galaviz. I regret to inform you that I am resigning from my position as school board trustee effective immediately. I recently lost my mother, and I realize how short life really is, and I refuse to surround myself with negativism. Since I am an optimist, I was really hoping that things would get better and that division among board members would stop, including the superintendent. However, it is very evident that things are not going to change anytime soon and are going from bad to worse. I also believe that there is a right way to do things and a wrong way to do things. And no matter what other people say, I avoid being influenced by anyone. I will continue to pray that you continue to advocate in the best interest of the students and staff. With that said, amazing things will continue to happen in Canutillo ISD. Respectfully, Rachel M. Quintana.
Thank you very much. So you read that?
Yes, ma'am.
And so as far as council,
The school board actually doesn't have an option but to accept resignation. We just need a motion and a second to accept it.
okay, I recommend that we accept the resignation, heavy heart, from Rachel Quintana.
Madam Chair, I'd like to second that, but I'd also like to make a comment. It is with the heaviest of hearts. Mrs. Quintana gave her everything to represent this school district. She gave up everything 9 years ago. And she took her chair and she served so well. We're very fortunate and I'm very honored to have served next to her. And I can't tell you the huge loss that I believe the whole district will feel from losing her. And it's really with the saddest of heart that I second your motion.
Thank you.
Ms. Brigham.
Yes.
Ms. Fritzie.
Yes.
Mrs. Searles.
Yes.
Mrs. Trout.
No.
And Mrs. Iglesias.
Yes.
Motion passes. Next item is new business. A, discussion and possible action regarding the results of request for qualifications for real estate broker services.
That's it.
Are there any questions?
Is the representative from Zebra here?
No. No, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
So, I guess I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Let me get to the correct page. Mr. Vasquez, Were there any other people who came forward to say that, I guess who responded to the RFQ?
Not on the second time that we posted it, ma'am.
Okay. So, is tonight the option open to re-advertise? Is that what I'm reading, that we have the ability to re-advertise it? And in so doing, what kind of time frame does that look at?
Working with the finance department, we're going to be able to post it within the next couple of weeks. Of course, as you know, this has to be advertised at least 2 weekends or twice on local newspapers. So we have the format ready. It's just a matter of getting together, finding out when the best time to do it is, and then post it.
Thank you.
I have a question. So, right now, is there anything that we have to do as far as just ask the administration to go forward?
Well, you have an RFQ to issue and respond to with one respondent. You either accept that respondent, which you actually already have an agreement with, for one, just the one item, correct?
Yes.
The original engagement with CBRE is a work order basis, and you have one work order outstanding. That work order will stay in place under that original agreement. This portion of it would be, are you going to continue to engage them, or do you want to go back out? You never have to accept a response from RFP. You can always say, we don't want to do it, and move forward with a new RFP, or you accept the response that you have.
Madam Chair? Yes. Is this new applicant selected already? Well, it's not been selected, but has all the qualifications?
It's the same vendor that we already have under contract.
Is that a new one? Yeah.
CBRE. So they are the only ones that responded.
Am I the only one? Yeah. Madam Chair, I move to go ahead and go with this.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor. Second.
Is it just to leave things
As
they are?
is really
So
as
we
it
could
is,
just
work
take
order
no
basis.
action?
No.
No, you can go ahead and approve.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Ms. Legal Counsel, but can we add more, or that would have to be an executive?
Each one of the work orders has to be presented to the administration.
Okay.
The administration brings it to the board.
Okay.
And the board approves if you're going to issue that work order. That's the
Okay.
current structure.
Okay.
There is a motion, is there a second?
Yes, there was a second by Mrs. Fritzie.
Okay. Ms. Brigham?
Yes.
Mrs. Fritzie?
Yes.
Mrs. Sturls?
Yes.
Mrs. Trout?
Yes.
And Mrs. Iglesias?
Yes.
Motion passes. Item B, discussion and possible action regarding the academic calendar for Northwest Early College High School for the 2018-2019 school year.
Madam Chair, if there's any question? Oh,
I have
go ahead. Oh, okay.
Yes, I have a question also.
So do I, but go ahead first.
On the calendar, are we aligned, Moreno, thank you. Are we aligned to the community college calendar?
Yes, as close as possible.
Okay, the other question I have, we also changed the work day, I mean, not the time, not the amount of days for the teachers at Northwest Early College. Is that correct? They follow the same calendar.
They follow the 187.
They follow the 187, but it's an alternate calendar that the
Yes,
rest of
ma'am.
it, okay. So.
It only meets the requirements, yes.
Okay, right, but, okay, so they have that. And, so it does follow Northwest, Early College, its calendar.
It follows the EPCC calendar?
Yes.
As close as possible, yes, ma'am.
Thank you, those were my questions.
Yes.
So,
Sure, go
Madam
ahead.
President, yeah. Are those instructional days are the same ones aligned with EPCC? How many instructional days?
They do meet the EPCC instructional dates that they're required to finish their classes to meet those rates. Then they also meet our requirements as well.
And how many instructional days are?
For EPCC?
For Northwest Early College?
I'm not sure on El Paso Community College. I don't know.
No, I said for Northwest Early College. Instructional days.
Oh, instructional days? Those are
Minutes.
Yes, 6 minutes, 76,500 minutes.
Thank you very much.
It does meet the instructional lists.
Thank you, Dr. Bell.
Any other questions? If there's no more questions, I would like to move to approve the calendar. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
There's a motion and a second. Ms. Brigham?
Yes.
Ms. Fritzie?
Yes.
Mrs. Searles?
Yes.
Mrs. Trout?
Yes.
And Mrs. Iglesias?
Yes.
Motion passes. Item C, receive updates from the Special Education Department regarding student placements.
Let's do.
Madam President, Mr. Galavis, Dr. Galavis, you have questions for me tonight?
Well, I'd like to thank you wholeheartedly. We've had quite a couple of months with questions coming to the board. You gave an amazing report, one of the best reports I've ever read in the Thursday packet a couple of weeks ago. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. Chambers.
What day was that, Ms. Rose?
I want to say it was
Because I
2
don't
weeks
remember which
ago.
one it was, but,
It-
just so that we can refer as to possible.
I want to say it's 2 weeks ago. It was superb. And yet I felt that when we hear it in the Thursday packet, we've only heard it. And that it's not a public record of it being heard and of being concern being made and response being given. So this is why I asked. In the meantime, since I asked for this, I also have a question to ask you, and I don't mean to take you off guard, but do we have a policy addressing how our technology is used for our special ed students? I'll give you an example of what I mean. Closed caption. Does the technology that we use, is it closed caption for the children with the hearing deficiency?
Each case is different.
Okay.
Depends on the students and what the ARB committee decides as far as assistive
Okay.
technology.
But we do have technology that will fit the need of the students?
Oh, yes.
Okay. And do we have a policy on using vendors that do make sure that their technology accommodates ADA?
We usually, we'll try to find the most appropriate materials.
Yes, sir.
And we go through the same process the rest of the district does as far as getting quotes and regulations and so on. So, that fits with the district policy.
Okay, so you feel that the reason I'm asking this, I went to a legal training and it was very pointed, gave the University of Berkeley as an example that their technology was not ADA acceptable, and they said, well, we can't afford to bring it up to speed, so it's all gone. And they got rid of everything. And I just wanted to, I felt secure that we were doing that, but I just wanted to hear from you that we're good.
Yeah, we are. I mean, and we keep abreast of all the legal issues.
Yes, sir.
And our attorneys, if we have questions or we see something come up from legal conferences, we always ask questions and we'll come back and make recommendations.
So, yes, ma'am?
If I may, and I know Mr. Chambers is well aware, we also use Region 19 extensively. They're the ones that help us with the assistive technology for all the special needs kids. So they keep us abreast, and a lot of times, jumping right off track, but they're the ones that would help us if we needed a unique device. And a lot of times, we get to use it for them for even up to a year, and then we decide whether we need it and then purchase it. So Region 19 works hand in hand with our diagnosticians, OTs and PTs. So I just wanted you to make sure that that's a bridge that we've had to do. To say that the technology is readily available, not necessarily. However, we can get it readily available because of the partnership or whatever we do with Region 19.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And so, do you feel, Mr. Chambers and Dr. Galavis, that the issues that have been brought before us as a district have been addressed?
Well, I can say that the district is experiencing growing pain.
Yes, sir.
And through that, we have staff that are working very hard to service our students. We have a needs assessment rubric that we use.
Yes, sir.
That I think is very efficient. I think you guys have seen that. That was, I think, with the same report on February 1st. The sheets that the teachers give us, we work with the teachers and the principals and the diacs and so on. And we look at every single student and we put a score of need by every single student, and so we can quantify what we do with those students. And that's the beginning of the conversation. Plus, it also depends on the other needs of the student, and it's an art and a science. So we're working very hard right now, and we've just been through our needs assessment about a week and a half ago, and have made recommendations, about staffing. So we're always working to improve. We're in an area of continuous improvement and trying to service our students. So I'm pretty confident, and with the help of our entire administration, the superintendent, and support of Dr. Behill, well, I know we're on the right track.
Thank you. And in your report on the placement of the students that we received, there was grouping of children different than I've seen it before. I want to say 3rd, 4th, 5th together. Am I correct in remembering that? Could you possibly keep us updated on the progress? Does that work? Has it shown to be a good grouping, or is there a better way, or was the old way better? An evaluation, I guess, of the grouping and the placement of having that many children, and maybe how many teachers or support staff that goes along with.
Right. We've used that model. Originally we had in our units, some of our self-contained units,
yes, sir.
We had students 6th grade and kindergartners together, and Region 19 wasn't a resource when we did the split. So the way a lot of the other districts are doing it, we always try to vet whatever we do. I get a lot of information from a lot of different areas and look at best practices and see what the other districts do. So the K through 2 seemed to be the most appropriate level setting, and then we split to grades 3 through 5. And we're always looking, like I said, to improve as the district grows. Maybe when we have more resources, we can split it a little further.
Okay.
But right now, we use the resources we have available and do the best things we can with those resources.
Thank you. So actually, it got better.
Yes.
Is what I'm hearing. Okay, good. Thank you.
I have one question. What is, either one of you, percentage, is TEA still saying 9%, or are we?
Right now, I have the numbers in front of me, and if you like, I can send you some updated numbers with charts and graphs and pretty colors and so on. I'll be glad to do that in the next board packet.
Okay.
We started the year off with 577 students, special education students. We're now at 601.
Right at 10% almost.
10%. Yes, ma'am. And we have 25 initial evaluations in progress right now. So it's possible, depending on whether the students qualify or not, we have 625 students to start next year.
Okay, and I know it's not gonna be very popular, but are there any special ed students that are outside the district?
Outside the district? Not that I know of.
Any transfer students?
Transfer, no.
I'm just curious again. So, is TEA, I know are they still holding that ridiculous, that it's supposed to be under 9%, or did they?
No.
Oh, good.
They're under fire, actually.
Oh, good.
So-
Somebody find, yes, thank you.
There was an audit, and so
Thank you.
they're asking for input from the public. We have given our input, and so that's being reevaluated.
I know the numbers are the numbers, and thank you. And it was very hard to do that when the state was kind of had a hammer over your head. But thank you so much. If you could give that information on a Thursday packet?
Yes.
Is that all right with the rest of the board?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Thank you very much, sir.
Item number 8, executive session. The time is now 7:10. The meeting is to be closed under Texas Government Code Section 551.071, 551.072, and 551.074. A, discussion with legal counsel regarding options to fill vacancy on the Board of Trustees.